Dr. Muhtar.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to be with us. It means a lot to us, and I hope you will, as Carla said, sit back and enjoy the next few minutes to learn about opportunities in food, agriculture, environment systems. Today is a special day, not only because you're with us, but there's also another occasion that we're celebrating today. Not sure how many of you know that today is Earth and Soil Day. So it's Soil Day. It's the International Soil Day that was declared a few years ago. We worked hard for it to be recognized as an International Soils Day by the United Nations. Why soils? I'll focus a little bit on soils, but then I'll expand a little bit more beyond the food, agriculture, and environment system. Soils are very, very critical to the existence and to the habitable environment we live here on Earth. Most of the food we eat, not all, most of the food we eat in our food basket comes from soil, because this is the medium for supporting our food that we eat. It's also a medium to purify the waters we drink. Soils are almost exclusively known as the nature's kidney, because all of the pollution that we see around us through many of the interface we have, human and the environment, passes through soil. And through that soil, you have the purification. It's also supporting biodiversity. It's supporting the whole ecosystem that we live in. So happy Soils Day, and good to have you here with us. I'd like to, Carla gave me only a couple of minutes, so I'm going to cheat a little bit and extend it into maybe a minute more. And I would like to ask you a question, so please feel free to use the chat. And the question I ask, if you're sitting here as young professionals, young adults, trying to make an impact, positive impact to the environment that we live in, I ask you this question: what are the top grand challenges that Lebanon, the region, and humanity face in the coming few years ahead? What are these common challenges that we face? So please feel free to use the chat and explore with all of us in your mind, what are these global challenges that faces humanity? And in particular, Lebanon, the Mediterranean, the dry land, what we call it, the rain-fed dry land areas that we live in, the semi-arid zone. What are these? I'll get you started with one, food security. Now, food security has been a challenge for us in the region because of the lack of abundance of water. And as you know, we need plenty of water. So food security is a problem. And of course, water security is another problem. What other challenges? Please feel free to use the chat. We don't have much time, but I'd like to tease you a little bit in a very brief exercise. Feel free to use the chat. GMOs, health, yes, thank you. For those of you who have not heard the term GMOs, genetically modified organisms, those apply to food products that do something. They're genetically modified to be resistant to certain diseases. They're genetically modified for adapting to less water or to get more yield. Now, this is a controversy. It's a big controversy. Some people think that's the only way moving forward in terms of increasing our yield. Others think that there are a lot of unknown health risks for GMO. So it's a science question that really will be with us for a while. Soil, agriculture, free from pesticide, yes. I mentioned two, human food security, water security. How about education? How about climate change? How about pollution, air pollution, water pollution? How about equity? Gender equity, equity across people with different race, with different cultures, land pollution. Yes. I need a couple more because I'm looking at the top 10. I need a couple more of those. Global warming, thank you. One more, the last one, soil degradation. Thank you. Thank you. Less smoke from pollution from factories, absolutely yes, because it does impact the emission, which by itself is a human risk in terms of those of us who had asthma and health risk, but also through emissions to the atmosphere that impact climate change. Let's take it, feel free to add to the list, but I'm going to move a little bit beyond. Please populate the chat with what you think would be the global challenges. Weakness in the productive sectors, absolutely yes. This is the investment, and this is many of you are interested in that. Most of us are interested in having local investment for productive sectors in Lebanon. That's what we need today, where we don't have a lot of what we call, quote unquote, fresh dollars for import. Increase in population. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is, I would have put this at the top of the list. Climate change. Thank you. So feel free to add to this, because that enriches our dialogue as we move through the session. The reason I asked this question, I would take all of the top 3. And I've done this exercise, and I've done it across the globe. I mean, I was for many years in the US, I was in Europe, and in the Middle East, in several countries. When we explore these grand challenges, one thing comes in mind, that most of these challenges are in a way or another related to the food, agriculture, and land systems. And I would say systems, because each one of them, there's a food system, there's a water system, there's a health nutrition system, and there's an ecosystem, landscape ecosystem. All of these systems are connected, but they're also related to what we're going to be exploring today. In the FAFS opportunities, food and agriculture system and environment are all related to what you're going to listen today. And without not being shy about it, I think our faculty addresses most of the challenges that you're going to be talking about. Now, I did mention earlier about equity, men, women, gender equity. Among many of the faculties, the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences is a pioneer in looking into equity, gender equity, and we are well known across the generations to be the most in terms of the population, men, women, different cultures, and everybody enjoys the freedom to express and be who they are among our family. So the mutual respect, upholding diversity is a virtue that we uphold at our faculty. And again, I'm going to close with one last statement, that all of these challenges that you talked about, the water security, the food security, the climate change, now we don't deal with population growth, but we deal with issues that supports population growth in terms of providing them with the proper nutrition, with a pollution-free environment, with food security, and with and we're moving more and more into the bioenergy, the renewable energy. That's why we're here. I'm very excited that you young generation are looking into FAFS as a career option, as a place where you're going to launch your career. Thank you so much. I know, Carla, I took more than you gave me, but I'm just excited to be here. Thank you so much, and thank you for the time.
Thank you, Dean Muhtar, and we're so happy to have you with us. I know you will be staying a little bit more, so in case there are any questions, we of course welcome any questions at the time during on the chat, and we'll be happy to answer. And Dean Muhtar will stay with us, and if you have anything to chat about, he will answer you on the chat box. And again, I would like to welcome again with us our faculty members, chairs of the departments, coordinators of programs, staff, and current students of the faculty. They are already with us, and of course we will have them with us during our question and answer session. But before we go through our program today, let's listen to some of our students explaining why they have chosen AUB as their higher education place. Well, that's exciting. It reminded me a bit about my days at AUB, and it is really exciting. And now I would like to welcome with us two of my colleagues, Dr. Ammar Alabi, Associate Dean of the Faculty and Professor of Food Science and Management. Hi, Dr. Alabi, and Dr. Maya Nabhani, Director of Continuous Academic Improvement. Hi, Maya.
Hello.
So Dr. Alabi and Dr. Nabhani will go through the different opportunities that you might have in our faculty. Dr. Ammar will start and explain all about the different departments at the faculty. And I know, Dr. Alabi, you're going to show us some videos related to activities, careers that might be of interest to our participants today. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Habib. Thank you, Dean Mahtar, for this very interesting introduction and start. I want to thank our attendees also, our dear students and hopefully incoming students who were very on point when they answered some of the questions. So I want to thank, like Dean Mahtar did, Jana, Hassan, Nurhan, Masa, Abd, and Joe. Hopefully I didn't forget anybody. You know, you're at a very specific stage in your life and career now, a very critical and crucial moment of your lifetime. It's not an easy one, especially given everything going on in Lebanon, unfortunately, on the globe with Corona and everything. But it's very important now to kind of ponder and think, what do you want to do in your future life? What do you want to do in your careers? And of course, usually when we go about doing this, we rely on two things. What are the subjects that I'm interested in? Is it chemistry? Is it biology? Is it math? And also, more importantly, I would encourage you to focus more. What do I want to do with my life afterwards in terms of job and career? What is my passion? What are the things that matter to me? And if I have a passion for a field that can be studied at FAFS, let's go ahead and embark on this journey and join our faculty and see how we can do well. When you have a passion for something, you're guaranteed success. And I'm going to talk to you today why you should be at least think about joining FAFS. FAFS currently and historically, and more so today, discusses and deals with a lot of the global challenges that we're dealing with today. Dean Mahtar raised this issue. I remember, and I'm seeing on the chat here, that Joe mentioned the issue of the world population and the growth in the population. You know, for those of you who might have heard this recently, we're currently at 7.8 billion people. And come year 2050, we should be 10 billion. With this huge increase in population come many challenges. And of course, these include things like unsafe drinking water, which you may not think is a major problem in Lebanon, but as we're facing more and more problems, as we have more and more crowding of the planet, more drying of the water resources, all of these things, it will become a problem. I just want to mention in terms of the world population, you know, you might think that in Lebanon we don't have a lot of people, but believe it or not, our Arab region in general is one of the fastest growing populations in the whole world. If today every woman of childbearing age in the Arab world would start having only 2 children, which is the number needed to stop the population growth, we will not stabilize before we reach 800 or 900 million people, which of course is a huge number compared to our current number and to our historic numbers. You might be shocked to learn that every year 5 million people die on the globe because of the lack to safe and clean water. And you may be shocked also to learn that every year thousands and thousands and millions, especially of children, die because of world hunger or hunger-related diseases. And this is one of the things that really are sad part of our human story that kills more than any other factor like wars or starvation or wars or environmental factors or natural disasters or anything like that. In addition, one of you mentioned the issue of global warming, which we're feeling more and more these days all over the globe. And we know that one of the main reason for this is fossil fuels. The gasoline, all the pollution that we have that is causing a raise in the temperature globally, that is really participating and influencing, basically dissolving the glaciers globally, and also that is causing all sorts of natural disasters. Wildfires every year in the fall season, you hear whether in California or Lebanon, huge wildfires, they're becoming more and more problematic, more and more dangerous. They're displacing people, and as a result of this, of course, we have loss of biodiversity. The loss of biodiversity not only impacts the insects we lose, it impacts the whole ecosystem. It impacts the environment around it, it impacts the animals, it impacts human beings, and it impacts our quality of life and the cleanliness and the pollution levels on the planet. So what can we do? We are faced with all of these challenges. We can do one step at a time. Basically, if we have a passion for one of these majors, one of the disciplines that deals with these global issues, we can go ahead and embark and study one of these disciplines, try to do well, do the best we can, be innovative, and then hopefully participate in solutions not only for Lebanon, regionally and globally. Of course, nutrition is one of these disciplines. We've talked about hunger, but hunger is not only the problem. We have what we call the double burden of hunger. When we have in the same time, sometimes in the same country, people who are hungry, who are suffering from malnutrition, who are not growing to their potential, and at the same time, people who are eating more than they should and becoming obese and developing all of the chronic diseases that come with obesity and with a bad diet. So this is becoming more and more complicated. And of course, you know, in our region, we have one of the highest obesity, especially in the Gulf area, one of the highest obesity rates, and one of the highest prevalences of these chronic diseases. So the key is to eat a balanced diet, a diet that depends on a sustainable system of production, sustainable system of consumption, sustainable ecosystem. The next one, please. So when you think about the majors we offer at our faculty, of course, we have agriculture. And when you think about these key challenges, whether biodiversity, environment, health, food, energy, or water, we have majors that deal with some or all of these. Agriculture, coincidentally, happens to deal with all of these components to varying extents, of course. We have a second department is landscape ecosystem management, deals with water, biodiversity, and the environment, and nutrition and food sciences, which of course focus more on the food aspect of things and the health aspect. So you show a short video telling you about the different departments. Just to reiterate the message, we have 3 main departments and 5 different programs. The first department is the Department of Agriculture. Now, you know, historically, you think about agriculture as being more related to growing crops and producing foods, producing raw commodities. But really, today's agriculture is not about this. It's more about using artificial intelligence, satellite imagery to increase food production at low cost and minimal impact on the environment. It's to experience the development of agricultural biotechnology tools that will affect agriculture and a lot of other factors, And it is to become an entrepreneur, basically, to become a businessman who could be creative, and he or she can come up with new ideas. You may have heard, most of you, about Boker, the pest control and food safety company. Its CEO was a classmate of mine, and basically at very young age came up with something very innovative. We have another classmate, another alumnus of the faculty, who founded basically a landscape architecture company in the Gulf in Dubai and won for many years the best prize award for his company in his field. So basically, in agriculture, you can study either agriculture, which is a 4-year program, and you get afterwards both 2 degrees, basically, a diploma in engineer agricole and a degree in agriculture, or you can study agribusiness, which is a 3-year program. Can we go back, please, to the previous slide? I think we skipped one. You can see the video now. I'm seeing only an empty slide. Okay. Yes, this one, please. Can we go to the one with the field where we can see a couple of videos, please? Yes. I think we can go ahead and turn on the video, please. Okay, if we can see one of 2 of these additional videos, we can. If not, we can move to the next one, please. Okay, so where do you work, basically?
I just want to, excuse me, yes, Dr. Alabi, I just want to reassure everyone that we will be sending all these videos to all the persons who participated with us in the event. So don't worry, they will get all the material.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Habib, for this. Yeah, this will be helpful to our attendees, and you wouldn't have any connection problems, connectivity problems. So you might think, what would I work in if I study agriculture engineering? There are a lot of opportunities. There are engineering companies, the public sector, nonprofit organizations, some private consulting firms, international organizations, and the like. Now, we know some of you, and with our traditional culture, are thinking, I want to become a physician, medical doctor. This is also possible from several of our majors, including agriculture. And this way, if, God forbid, you're not successful, you can end up with a degree you can work in rather than the typical basic sciences where mostly you end up in the teaching field, which is okay if you have a passion for teaching, like I do and my colleagues do, but you don't have to be restricted to that area. In the agribusiness, you can work for marketing companies, the food industry, especially from the marketing and the business-related aspects, again, private consulting firms and international organizations, or even better, like some of our graduates, you can start your own startup and company. Next one, please. Now we will see a video describing basically agriculture and agribusiness. Okay, that was an interesting video about agriculture and agribusiness. Now, if you want to study, of course, nutrition or food science, here, if you're interested in food science, of course, the key and the focus is on food products, whether the quality control, the food safety, the product development. If you're interested in nutrition and you study with us, you can become a US accredited registered dietitian through the 4-year program, the coordinated program in nutrition dietetics. And this way you can become a registered dietitian without having, and you can sit for an exam that is US accredited and become globally recognized registered dietitian. Of course, you need to think beyond the calories and think about health and the well-being in general. And in food science, you can attend to the creation of exciting food products, ensuring the availability of wholesome and safe foods to the public. So here, the Food Science and Management program is a 3-year one. We do have also Food Science and Technology, a new program that is a 3-year one. And in nutrition, we have 2 options, either a 3-year program where you do an internship afterwards, after graduating, or a 4-year program where we can basically monitor your progress and supervise, co-supervise the internship that you do at the specific location. Again, here you can do pre-medical studies, and whether nutrition or food science, these are very suitable pre-medical studies because you can do better and get higher grades in these majors compared to the competitive biology and chemistry. At the same time, kind of secure alternative jobs if you'd like to work in this field afterwards, in case you change your mind or if you're not successful. Next one, please. So for nutrition, of course, most of the time people end up working either in hospitals, in the dietary department of hospitals, or sometimes have found their own private clinics where you become the boss of your own and you don't have a boss. You can basically control your lifestyle and your working hours and basically plan things for your own company in a way when you think about it. When you have a private clinic, you can have polyclinic with friends or classmates with a certain theme. Lately, they've been focusing on exercise and nutrition. You can work for international companies, catering companies, international organizations, or in the community. For food science, most of the time you end up working either in the food industry, in all of the things that I mentioned, or even in the food and beverage industry. And you know, in the last 10 years, the food and beverage sector has evolved quite a bit in Lebanon, and has expanded regionally in the Gulf and other places. You can work in that area or in the retail food industry, the large supermarkets. All of these require a lot of background about business, a lot of background about technical issues. And food science is very suitable for these fields. Next one, please. Now we're going to see a video talking a little bit about nutrition and food science. I believe, yeah, we'll restart this one. So another video, as you could have imagined, these are graduates of our faculty and of AUB, actually recent graduates, not a long time ago, 3-4 years ago. And as you can see, they've become very young entrepreneurs and started their kind of shared clinic with all of these things. Now we'll see one related to food science and management. So this video was about food science and management. Of course, the focus here was more on the food and beverage sector rather than the food industry per se, the manufacturing, but it gives you an idea also. So then we have, of course, the Department of Landscape Design and Ecosystem Management. But think about this as being architecture for the green areas. So whether it's indoors, outdoors, if you want to basically reshape a certain area, whether it be urban, rural, a community, you can consider a lot of things. Design, usually the people who enter this major have a passion for design, like architects. So they like drawing, they like basically creating designs. They have an art, of course, interest, the history of art, all of these things. And of course, my colleagues can talk better about this, my colleague and the colleagues in the department. But of course, they focus also on the environment. So how to enhance the sustainability of built and the natural environments for the well-being of the people and the species, and how to improve the environment by bringing together the ecology, the culture, and nature. there are a lot of things you don't think about when trying to basically rehabilitate a certain area or design a certain area in a neighborhood. There are a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration: the history, the culture, the economics, all of these things. This is a 4-year program, and like agriculture, the people who study this program will end up with a diploma of engineer agricole and also degree in landscape architecture. It's on its way of becoming accredited also by a US-based institution. And also, it's very rigorous, like we said, in terms of the design aspect of it. The people who study this in this program, of course, they end up working like architects for architecture and engineering companies. There is quite a bit of synergy also with architecture in terms of the areas of interest, real estate and development companies, the public sector, international organizations, or private consulting firms. Now I believe I'm gonna, here's the video that we're gonna watch about landscape architecture. Okay, great. That was our video about landscape architecture. Now I'm going to leave the floor to my colleague, Dr. Maya Nabhani, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the whole experience in our faculty, UB in general, about scholarships and other areas of interest to you. Dr. Nabhani?
Thank you, Dr. Alabi. That was very interesting. And of course, I just encourage everyone, if you have any inquiry, anything that you would like to on the spot to ask about, please type in the chat and we'll be happy to respond. Of course, don't forget that we'll have also our Q&A session. So Dr. Nabhani, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Carla and Ammar. I would like to again welcome everybody to this session. Ammar has just presented all of the programs at the faculty, but I mean there are even more reasons why FAFS would be a good faculty to join. So graduates usually have more than 90% career placement, which means that more than 90% of our graduates will find a job and will start their career path immediately after graduation. We have merit and need-based scholarships. We look at all the challenges from a global academic perspective. We have accredited programs. We have very interesting and exciting study abroad and exchange program opportunities. We have state-of-the-art research labs and centers. For example, ARIC, which is the AUB farm, which we saw briefly in one of the videos when the agriculture program was being discussed. And of course, one of the most sought-after elements, which is experiential learning, which means that students do not only study the knowledge behind each and every program, but they will actually apply it, whether in the labs or in the field or in their internships or capstone courses. They will be able to apply what they learn, and therefore when they graduate, they will be really professionally ready to integrate into their careers. So as I mentioned, there is 90% FAFS employment rate. If you compare it to to the MENA region, you will see that really this is a high employability rate, which means usually our graduates are very sought after, and they find employment directly. So as you could see from this brief video, actually our alumni and our graduates are widespread all around the world. So they find jobs not only in Lebanon and in the Arab world, but they are widespread in Europe, North America, Latin America, Africa, Australia, the Far East. So this is just a little bit of a glimpse of the opportunities that usually our graduates have when they graduate.
عملت لي اكسبوجر على كثير معلومات حلوه. اول شيء هي بحد ذاتها فيلد كثير حلو وضمان بيتعلم فيه الشخص.
So these were some of our alumni, and these testimonials were taken recently, so you can see their feedback and how they've become they've started their own businesses and became entrepreneurs. So now that we have discussed academics, we have discussed careers, I'm going to move to the second part, which is going to talk a little bit about what kind of funding and assistance that you as a student at AUB and at FAFS may be able to seek. There are two ways to seek financial assistance at AUB, either through the financial aid or through FAFS scholarships within the faculty. Now, this is the link to the AUB financial aid website. I will just visit it with you briefly so that you familiarize yourself with it. So on this webpage, you will find all the information about what kind of grants and scholarships that exist, what kind of Lebanese loans there are, and even there are other funding opportunities for North American citizens. There is also instructions of how you can apply through this webpage, and then you will be given further instructions of any further steps that you will need to follow. There are also scholarships that are specific to the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences, and these you can find them on the faculty's webpage and in a specific subsite. So we have two types of scholarships. We have the Raji and Fawziya Sinno Undergraduate Scholarship in Agriculture. This scholarship is a full scholarship which is specific to anybody who applies to the agriculture undergraduate major. Another scholarship is the SAFE, which is this is for other disciplines. So also anybody who applies to landscape architecture or to nutrition and dietetics or to food sciences will be able to apply to this scholarship as well. Again, the instructions are very clear, and you can apply directly online through this subsite, which you will find through the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences webpage. And here's a little bit more about scholarships. So now comes the very important question of how to apply to AUB. The applications to AUB may be found on the Common App as well as through the AUB website. If you go to the AUB website, you will directly be taken to this subsite for applications, and you can see that you will choose what kind of application you would want to go for. You will have all the information available, including the deadlines, admission requirements, so here again you can see these are the different majors, and you can decide whether you want to apply to undergraduate or graduate. In this case, we are talking about undergraduate studies. You will have the requirements such as what are the English requirements, what are the what kind of documentation you will have to provide. So everything is there. And of course, we are always ready to answer any questions that you may have. You can just send us an email or even over the phone. So part of the application process will be whether you need student housing or not. So if you live outside of Beirut or outside of the country, you will have the opportunity to apply to student housing. Again, there is a special website for student housing. You can have a look at the different opportunities and the different residences that are there. There is on-campus residences, and there are those that are at very close proximity, which also are AUB residences. So you will be able to choose according to your preference, but of course also according to availability. For student resources, now in addition to the student support that you are provided by the university as a whole through the student affairs section, there is also a students and career services section at the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences. If you visit the website, you will see you will have the different resources there that you need. For example, the manuals, scholarship information, career services information, and of course we are available here continuously throughout your studies to provide any support and answer any questions that you may have. Here is a message from some of our students. So after this message from our student society, I mean, we have different extracurricular activities that take place on campus, and among the active committees is our student FAFS SRC. So if you do join FAFS, you will get a chance to get to know them and be part of this big family. So with that, I'd like to thank you for attending this. I leave the floor again to Carla.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you very much. That was really very informative. And again, I'd like to tell everyone that we will be sharing with you all the material that we have shown, the resources, the links, how to apply, and so on. But now, please allow me to welcome our chairs for today. They will be ready to answer all your questions. So first, I'd like to welcome Dr. Issam Bashour, Chairperson of the Agriculture Department and Professor of Soil Science. I would like also to, hi, Dr. Bashour. I would like also to welcome Dr. Omar Abed. Can we see you, Dr. Abed? Dr. Abed is the Chairperson of the Nutrition and Food Science Department and Professor of Nutrition and Dietetics. How are you, Dr. Abed? I would like also to welcome Dr. Bita Drexler, Assistant Professor at the Landscape Architecture. How are you, Dr. Drexler? And I would also want to welcome Dr. Ali Shala. He's the undergraduate coordinator of Agribusiness program. Dr. Shala is also an associate professor of Agribusiness. Hi, Dr. Shala.
Hi, everyone.
We should have also with us Dr. Muhammad Abyad. I don't know if he's joined or not. Dr. Muhammad Abyad.
Hi, Carla.
Hi, how are you?
I'm on board. Alhamdulillah.
You're on board. Hello, Sahla. So Dr. Abyad is the undergraduate coordinator of Food Science and Management program, and he's an associate professor in food science. So welcome to you all. I would like also to welcome our students and our staff who can also be available for your questions. We have Mrs. Ali Alameddin, Dr. Maya Nabhani as well, and Mrs. Sarwat Haddad from the Student Affairs Office, who will also be ready to answer your questions. First, I would like to ask all our chairs a general question that we received from many of our prospective students. So I will start to ask the question to the names as they appear on my screen. So maybe I would start with Dr. Ali Shala, and then we'll ask the others. What is the background needed for to apply? I mean, what type of high school studies or baccalaureate we need to have? Is it socioeconomic, general science, humanity, life sciences?
I think agribusiness caters generally for all types of students. I mean, being a mixture of social science and science degree, catering for a generalist knowledge, any students can really apply and get accepted to agribusiness if they've got the required, if they meet the university-wide requirement without any specific formation at school. Knowing that being a graduate in graduating with a school degree in socioeconomics might give you some advantage, but not to make you, it's not a huge advantage. Anyone can really apply, as long as he has got the passion and drive for it.
Great. What about landscape? Do we need to have a science background for landscape, Dr. Drexler? You are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, now it works. No, I don't think so. I agree. What we need is a passion, and some creative skills would be most welcome, definitely. But I don't think there is any specific background. I became a landscape architect with humanities background, very strong humanities background. So So yes, you can join us. If you have passion for landscape, definitely it's enough.
Great. Dr. Abeid, we know that for nutrition and food sciences, we do have a certain requirement for the baccalaureate, at least. We do need to have a science background?
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, it is preferable and it is much better to have, a science background, especially some biological background, because, in terms of nutrition and even food science, we need some, biological, background in biology, because we handle biology, biochemistry, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And finally, Dr. Bashur, for agriculture, can we enter with a humanities baccalaureate to study agriculture?
Yes, you can enter with any baccalaureate.
Excuse me, we cannot hear you properly, Dr. Bashir, if you can be closer to the microphone.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, we can enter with any baccalaureate, because when they start here, if they need the biology or chemistry course, we give them here of their program. So they can apply and eventually they get information in the background.
Okay, now I'll move to my other questions, and here I'm going to be a little bit more specific, and I'll go back to Dr. Abeid. Again, there's a question about accreditation, if the program of nutrition and dietetics is accredited, and there's also another question, will I be considered as a U.S. registered dietitian? And finally, if I want to open my clinic, what do I need to open the clinic? That is specifically for nutrition and dietetics.
Thank you. Yes, for nutrition and dietetics, if you want to practice and open a clinic or to work in a hospital or handle or dealing with a human directly, with a human contact, you'll have to have license to practice. And then, after you finish your, the 3 years program, either you do 6 months of internship, and after the 6 months of internship, you go for colloquium by the government. When you pass this colloquium, you have license to practice. Now, to have American accreditation, we have what you call the CP program, the coordinated program. It is a 4-year program, so which means after you finish this 3 years, we stay with us for another year. During this year, we have a few courses and mainly some internship, mainly composed of internship in different, in some specific hospital. And after that, you'll be entitled, to go for American accreditation.
To sit for
before, I want to mention something which has recently happened. Before, they used to require that you should do a minimum of 900 hours of internship in America. So you have to go to any American institution in America. Recently, ASEAN, they really lifted this. So now, even if you are in Lebanon, you can complete all this, all your hours of internship without going to America, and you'll be eligible to sit for the RD exam.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Abeid. Again, I'm going to remind everyone that now we have opened the Q&A box so that you can send us your questions under Q&A. At the bottom of your screen, scroll down and type into the Q&A, or just raise your hand and we will unmute your your microphone. I have a question to Dr. Mohammed Abiad. The question is for food science and management. After completing the BS, can we apply for an MBA? And again, after graduating, can we become a food safety instructor or inspector? Or do we need to do more studies in order to become a food safety inspector?
For the first part is, let's answer the second part actually. It's easier. For becoming a food safety inspector, you will need to take safety training and get certified. And these, we usually do those in collaboration with some certifying agencies that can help you do that. But you can also do an internship as an inspector along with the Ministry of Economy and Trade. We do have that a summer internship or an 8-week internship with them, or even throughout the year, you can go and shadow the inspectors from the Ministry of Economy and Trade, and with that you'll be able to see how they work and how they function. So that's one. Getting an MBA after your food science. Now, in food science, we have 2 different tracks. There's the food science and technology, which is the new program that has been developed, and that's more pure science with little emphasis on business and management, whereas the food science and management has an emphasis on management. You will be able to go for an MBA, but you will have to take prerequisites for that. Not all the courses that you have taken in food science and management are applicable. So you will need to take about 3 or 4 courses which are prerequisites for the business and continue your MBA. So that's an option. You can take those courses in addition to the curriculum courses as an undergraduate, so you don't have to pay for them at a later stage. And then you can apply for an MBA for that purpose. So
these courses will be counted and will be, counted
yes,
for,
you will
and
take,
you don't need to repeat them.
Yes, they can take a minor in business and then they can continue on that. They don't need to retake them later on if they took the required courses, but they have to decide from the beginning so that they can incorporate those prerequisites in their curriculum of study so that they will be able to apply at a later stage.
Okay, and thank you, Dr. Abiad. I have the same question to Dr. Shala. Again, can we apply to for an MBA after agribusiness? And a good question as well. I'm going to ask it again also to Dr. Bashur, but first, Dr. Shala, if you can answer me to this, and if we can answer to the Syndicate of Engineers for agribusiness major.
Yes, regarding the first question, I haven't looked into exactly the exact requirements, but I believe they are similar to what Hamad has mentioned. If not,
the MBA.
Yes, for the MBA. On the second question, agribusiness students have the option of, after finishing their agribusiness degree, of taking 2 or I think it's 3 semesters of study of additional agriculture courses and get a second BS in agriculture, which comes along, of course, with a diploma of Engineer Agricole, exactly like students who started with a degree of agriculture. And with this diploma and second BS degree in agriculture, they will be able to become a member of the Order of Engineers.
Okay, thank you.
So which is a great, which is actually a great asset for agribusiness students, because it means that in 4 years and a half, they will earn 2 degrees and the ability to be a member of this organization.
Exactly. Again, the question to Dr. Bashur, when of course with our agriculture degree, we can enter the Syndicate of Engineers. And a question is about how many semesters we usually spend at AUB Farm.
They go for the spring and the summer, so they spend about 6 months over there. So, and I have to add that this is maybe the most exciting stage of their education in the school. That's I can tell from previous experience and many graduate people. Even sometimes, we ask each other not when to graduate, which are clearly. So it becomes a time that they remember and they learn a lot, because over there they learn the practicality of agriculture.
They get to practice. They got to practice.
Okay.
Carla, if I may add here that sometimes food science students want to go into and become members of the Order of Engineers and Architects. That is also feasible if they do a 1 year and a half and become engineer agricole again, and then they can be members in the Order of Engineers and Architects, for that matter of fact.
Okay, thanks to Dr. Abiad. So actually this would be a total of 4.5 years, as Dr. Ali Shar'a said. So this is possible. Yes. with agriculture, with the major of agriculture, but also agribusiness and also food science and management.
Yes, of course. They become, they will have a second year degree, and then they are entitled.
Okay. Thank you. We have a question about the criteria for the Raja and Fawziya scholarship, and I guess this is Ms. Alia Alameddin can answer this question.
Yes, for the Sinno scholarship, it's a merit scholarship, so you have to have at least an 80 average in your grades 10, 11, 12 at school, in addition to a SAT score not less than 1,200. And there is the FAFS scholarship committee that will study all the applications, and depending on the result, you will be either selected or not. But it's a merit scholarship.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alia. I have a question to Dr. Drexler. We have someone worried about the creativity aspect and the design, whether the student needs to have any skills in drawing or creativity to be able to apply or to succeed in the landscape major.
Not really, because you are going to learn everything here. By creativity, I'm thinking about more about open-minded person that would like to do something creative. If you would like to go into this profession, we start very, very basic things, so you will learn everything here, don't worry.
Good, thank you. And again, the question, can we apply to the Syndicate of Engineers after graduating from the landscape and architecture?
Yes, we have a landscape architecture Lebanese association, and we are part of syndicate.
Okay, Syndicate of Engineers.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. We had also a question. I'm not sure who can answer this. Maybe I don't know if this is maybe Dr. Nabhani Maya about PhD. And the scholarship for someone applying or wants to study PhD from the Lebanese University. I think that was Sausan who sent it in the chat earlier.
Yes, we have. We have taken note of Sausan's email, and we will send her more information about this separately.
Okay, good. And then again. When we're talking generally, I don't know who would volunteer to answer this question. How many credits are needed to graduate in the respective, of course, departments? Maybe Dr. Abeid would tell us. I know that sometimes you need to take summer courses, but sometimes that is not mandatory. So how does it happen?
Well, for the 3 years program, as you know, a year according to university regulation, so it's about 30 credits. So in principle, 3 years programs, from nutrition and dietetic, 96 credits. However, if you want to go to the CP program, which is another extra year, so in total we have 126 credits.
Okay, and this includes summer, of course.
Summer is mainly an internship, usually, this type of things, but they are not really required to, if they follow the proper curriculum in a way, they don't need to take summer courses. But sometimes what happens, some students, they transfer from major to another major, and this way they need some extra courses from our major, to make up for these courses and to stay in line to graduate on time. They will really be required to take some summer courses.
Okay.
Even if you have some of students, they want to work for pre-med and nutrition, then again, at the same time, they may need to take summer courses because there's extra courses.
Okay, so that was my other question. A student who wants to be a pre-med, so continue in the medical profession. So this would be possible if they apply for nutrition and dietetics. Would that be possible also for food science if they major in food science and then continue in medicine?
Yes, it is possible, and we made a plan for students if they want to go for pre-med. So if they're interested, we give them the list of courses what's required to take, and this way, they can follow it up, and hopefully they get to the medical school.
And would this be an addition to the 3 years, or the courses, the pre-med courses?
No, we design it in a way to be within 3 years, but it may include some summer courses.
Okay, thank you. And again, I would like to ask, I think Dr. Bashour, maybe in the agriculture, we have more credits than in the nutrition and food science, usually, or agribusiness. That includes summer, right?
Yes, it's 128, including the summer.
We still cannot hear you properly, Dr. Bashour, if you can get closer.
128 credits.
Okay, and do these include summer?
Yes, include the summer.
Okay. And the agribusiness, Dr. Ali Shala?
96.
Yes, if I may answer. So the agribusiness degree is a typical 3-year degree, like most degrees at AUB. It's 96 credits. It includes a mandatory summer, in the second year where students have to take an internship and also an entrepreneurship course. But otherwise, other than these two courses, all courses can be taken during regular semesters unless there's a situation similar to what Dr. Abed indicated with transfer students and all the like.
Okay, and for landscape and architecture, are we supposed to take summer courses?
Yes, we have 3 summers. We have 144 credits, 4 years with 3 summers. One of the summer is for internship, locally or internationally. And also we have summer workshops.
Okay, thank you. I have a question to Dr. Ammar Alabi. During your presentation, Dr. Alabi, you talked about exchange students. So how this is possible, and is it possible to do so with all the departments and majors?
Yes, this is one of the areas that we give a lot of attention to, and this is really, it builds the personality of the students, give them a different outlook on things. When they get to spend a semester abroad, whether in the US, in Europe, regionally, in the region, and they spend the semester taking the same courses that they need to take here, sometimes with 1 to 2 courses difference. The main thing is they need to plan this early on in their first year if possible. They cannot do it until they get to the second year or third year, but planning it early on will be advantageous. And as you know, these days with the corona, we don't have much mobility, but hopefully this will end in not too long, and the opportunities will open again for a similar experience.
Okay. Now, because you mentioned, Dr. Alabi, the COVID-19 pandemic, again, in case this is prolonged to next year, how can you just explain to us a little bit how are online courses being given? Are there any blended courses?
Yes, currently for this year, as you know, because the corona crisis has been at its peak, most courses were given online. Online, not meaning that the material is there. There are a lot of opportunities to interact with faculty members. Sometimes the labs were given physically, especially the design studios. They have a component where they're given physically because they cannot be taught completely online. But we do expect, hopefully, I mean, the spring is looking more or less like the fall, mostly online. But for our interested students, who I assume will be joining not early than next fall, by the end of the summer, globally, they're expecting that things will start improving. So they'll get hopefully to experience, if not completely, most of the physical experience and the university campus experience, which is really essential for their, kind of overall progress in their studies and their overall experience.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Alabi. Dr. Shala, just again, there are questions about some students being confused between the business major, the regular business major we know of, and agribusiness. If you can just a bit explain more about the difference between business and bachelor in business and our agribusiness major.
To start with, there is, in terms of subject matter, the two are very similar, but the reason for creating the agribusiness degree is because agriculture, starting with farming and related businesses, are very different from the regular businesses in industry or in the services sector that the business degree deals with. You're dealing with biological production, with perishable products. There's so much technical knowledge that's needed. And from this came the need for creating the agribusiness degree to have students, to have graduates who have, at one same time, a good technical knowledge of agriculture and farming practices, but at the same time, the skills, soft and hard skills required to do a business plan, to manage a farm or an agribusiness or a corporate farm or a food processing plant or what have you, that are needed, that are very peculiar to this field. This is in terms of subject matter, and this is why agribusiness was conceived as a separate degree from business, although it shares many requirements and many courses. In terms of course requirements, almost a third of our courses are taken in the business school. Another third is general requirements, which are also very similar to any degree at AUB, not only in business. And then the third of the courses are specific to agribusiness, both technical and courses like marketing and operations management and final year project and entrepreneurship, which are business courses, but they are specific to the agribusiness degree and to agriculture and different from the similar courses, similarly titled courses given in the business degree. So that's in a nutshell the difference. And of course, the agribusiness degree is hosted in FAFS, while the business degree is in a different school, which is the Rayan School of Business.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shala. Dr. Drexler, you needed to add something to what you have previously explained. Do you have a note to add?
Well, I would like to add something about international experience of our students. We have different kind of workshops that we are doing internationally. We had workshops in Germany, in Jordan, just during last 2 years. Now, of course, it goes virtually, but we hope that soon we'll do it again. We'll travel again with our students. And also, I would like to add that we are the first landscape program that we are going to have certification from American Landscape Architecture Association. And that means that our graduate students will be able to work as landscape architects in the United States and continue there. So we are in the process, again, because of COVID, it's a little bit late. We supposed to have visit last semester, but it wasn't possible. But hopefully it will happen soon.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Drexler. Dr. Abed, we have a question about SAT scores to be able to be accepted in nutrition and dietetics. Can you answer this, or should I ask someone from the student affairs?
Ask the student affairs better.
Carla,
because they know the latest.
It's not about only
I already answered, Carla. It's in the chat.
But it's not only the SAT score. It's the composite score. Just to answer it here, it's about a composite score, which takes into account the last 2 years, fifth and sixth secondary, without the terminal. It takes the average of the student, the rank of the student in the class. In addition, there's a formula, and in addition to the SAT score. Usually, SAT scores around 1,200, 1,250 at least would guarantee a good composite score to enter the programs.
What about high school students going in as freshmen?
The high school students coming in as freshmen, they don't enter into our program. They enter as freshmen to the university. They finish the first year, and then they apply to transfer. And then we look at those applications as transfer applications from freshmen to the program. And they need to have an average above 80, because that's competitive, and depending on how many students are applying at that time to the program.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Abyad. Any additional comments from any other professors with us on board for the SAT program or SAT grades? Okay. I don't know if we still have more questions. Maya, can you tell me if I missed any question? Because I think I'm done.
I believe that we have covered all of the questions. If anybody still has any question and feel that they would like it to address it orally, they can raise their hand, and maybe they would be given a chance to ask it.
We have a question from Maria Rita Deh. She's asking, do you encourage someone who doesn't like math and physics to do agriculture? So who is going to answer this question? Dr. Shala or Sarwat? We don't hear you, Dr. Bashur, at all. At all. مش عم نسمع أبدا. ثروة الميكروفون عند دكتور بشور ما منيح.
بدكم جاوب أنا عن دكتور بشور إذا ما عم يسمع خريج زراعة. I think no, I don't think a good background in physics or in math. I think the second discipline was needed for a agriculture degree. Agriculture degree is a science degree, but it's also a professional degree where you are trained to become skilled in food production, whether it's production of grains or vegetables or fruits, or animal production, whether it's poultry or cattle. So there is science, and there is some amount of courses that rely on some knowledge of that are a bit quantitative, like that use some math or physics, like in irrigation, for example, or to a lesser extent in soil fertility and the like. But I wouldn't say you need to be very advanced in your knowledge of these physics. And anyway, all the knowledge can be acquired through the courses, and you will be well trained. So it's, in a way, it's self-contained. You don't need to bring your baggage to the degree.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shala. We also have a question for Dr. Olabi. Someone is asking if the SAT exams were cancelled, how are you going to go about applications, acceptances, etc.?
I believe this year it was cancelled for some students, and the university as a whole had to look into this and consider interviewing and doing the exam a bit late. But it really depends on what happens in the country in general. This is not really, that cannot be controlled by us. It's subject to what happens with the system in the country as a whole. But there are sometimes solutions for this. So if somebody is interested, they can contact us and we can work with them, see how we can resolve things.
So we follow the general.
Carla, let me add.
Okay,
let me add to this. There are 2 sessions for the SATs, one in December, one in March. So far, they have not been cancelled. They're still going on, and the university admissions have usually we stop at the December for this for the applications to be considered, but now we are considering SATs that are taken later in March for the applications for next fall. So until we have 2 chances, the students can register, and so far they opened also new centers for the SATs to accommodate for the COVID, so that they can have social distancing and be able to handle more students because of the restrictions in the center capacity that has been implemented. So precautions have been taken so far from the admissions committee and from the registrars. We have not heard any changes regarding that for next year.
Thank you, Dr. Abyad. Dr. Shala, we have a question. Someone is asking, would business administration students take any elective agribusiness courses, or can they take any elective agribusiness courses?
I am not sure. I haven't looked into details into the business administration degree and whether it gives space for free electives. In that case, I would say yes. I would doubt there is any free electives in business administration courses, which means that 95% of the students will not need to take electives in our degree, which doesn't mean that they're not allowed to, but that becomes really something for individual students to decide.
Yes, it's up to them. Yes.
They have to take natural science. They are taking natural science from our faculty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a general science course that they can take.
More than one.
Yes, sure, definitely. I thank you, Alia, for mentioning this. In the agribusiness degree, we offer preparatory courses like AGSC 202 and 203, which deal with water, land, crop production and protection, and other natural science courses that actually could be taken as electives for the business course. I was thinking in terms of free electives, but in terms of natural sciences, yes, of course, there are science courses offered specifically for the agribusiness degree that can be taken by business students.
Thank you. And again, we have we are asking.
Carla, can Dr. Shala mention something about the dual degree with agriculture and agribusiness?
Dr. Shala?
Yes, I believe it was mentioned, Carla, the ability to do a second BS from food science or agribusiness in agriculture.
We mentioned in Rabia, this was mentioned about the dual major in agribusiness and agriculture and other majors as well. We have a question from Yoram. I think that maybe Sarwat can answer this, or Maya. When is the deadline for applying?
Deadline for applying for the fall, for next fall, is December 20, extended till December.
So it's end of December?
Wait.
It's December 20 for the fall semester 2021.
Yes, and it will be extended till March. They will take March SAT.
Okay, so this is extended till March?
No, the deadline is December 20, but they will take the March SAT.
Okay, so they have to apply by December 20.
Yes.
If they
Yes.
haven't taken the SAT yet, they can take the one for March.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I think we're almost done here, unless someone has any more questions or any one of our faculty members would like to add any note. Dean Rabia, Muhtar, would you like to say a few words before we end this event?
No, thank you all. It has been a very, very informative session. Thanks for all the students to stick around. Thanks to the faculty, and foremost, thank you, Carla, for doing an excellent job. Thank you.
So thank you all. Thank you again for all the participants. Again, I will remind you that we will be sending you all the material to your emails with the videos and the needed information. I would like again to extend my thanks to the team who worked hard for this open house. I would like to thank Mrs. Alhan Shamsuddin, who was really holding the team together, Mrs. Ali Alamuddin, Sarwat, Dr. Nabahani, and Dr. Alabi, and of course, a big thank you to all our chairs and program directors for being with us today. We hope to see some of you, those of you who participated today, we hope to see you maybe next fall in our campus and in our faculty. Thank you again, and have a nice evening.